Hello everyone, welcome back to another podcast for Content and Podcast. It's another episode of For Content and Podcast. Today it's me and Singpak. So let's just start with the two of the most entertaining games played last night. Starting off with Brazil versus Norway. What do you think of this game?
Yeah, I mean, this game have a, it was quite interesting. For one nation, it was a complete disappointment, and for one nation, it's like huge achievement. But yeah, in my opinion, I think this game all the way up to the end was still kind of somewhat even. I mean, started off Norway kind of scored an offside goal, but yeah, I think Sorloth was offside, and then afterwards though, then I think that another highlight of this game was the obviously the Bruno penalty, and a lot of people were kind of questioning like why other attackers didn't take it like Vinicius, considering like he's been the star boy, like the star man of the Brazil team. But yeah, that penalty was saved. I think a lot of people were disappointed with that. But yeah, talking about this game in general, though, I do think up to the late, it was like somewhat even. There were like chances created from both sides. If I recall, like I remember Odegaard had a really nice shot just before the end of first half. I believe it was, and Vinicius, even though there were criticism of him not taking the penalty, I still think like there were moments in the game where he did like still show his brilliance, especially for the pass he did to Endrick, which Endrick did not score. Again, this has been the highlight of the game as well. A lot of people were questioning like how Endrick didn't score that, and yeah, and obviously then Haaland turned up, but I would say like it was kind of crazy though, because we kind of seen like Haaland like dunking on Gabriel again. It's like watching Man City versus Arsenal again. Haaland was dunking on Gabriel, especially for the first goal. Like literally, Gabriel fell down, couldn't do nothing about it. And yeah, even the second goal, yeah, the Brazil defense was just looking super shaky. Like what the hell? And yeah, and I also want to like mention the instant impact of the number 21 of Norway. Like he came on in the I started off in the second half, right? He came on as a substitute, and yeah, he obviously didn't make an impact, so that was a good sub. And obviously, to end off, we cannot like not skip the Neymar penalty. I feel like that kind of penalty was just gifted in the sense like it felt like the goalkeeper wasn't even really trying, but yeah, I guess it was a good farewell gift for Neymar. And yeah, both teams, I think that both goalkeepers were making saves as well. So yeah, what's your opinion on the game, Moment?
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, in the first half, it was like I believe in the first half it was more of an even game. Obviously, Sorloth was offside, which was a really tight call, but it was offside. And I think they scored in the opening 4 minutes. Norway, they were quite well, and then we saw Brazil taking the momentum and then attacking, and Cunha winning a penalty. But unfortunately, and it was Ancelotti who asked Vinny to give it to Bruno. So yeah, and he said this in an interview post match. So it was Ancelotti's decision to give it to Bruno, and unfortunately he could not really convert the penalty. But the credit where due, this game, in this game, the Norwegian goalkeeper Nyren deserves a lot of credit. He made some brilliant saves, especially the ones that he shot Vinicius Junior where he won the ball from Odegaard, and then he was just one on one against the goalkeeper, and he could not really finish. So yeah, I think Vinny was quite good in this game, although he did lose a couple of duels against Ryerson, but still, I think he won more than he like compared to him, the defender dominating him. So Vinny once again was amazing, but then as we saw in the second half, Andreas, I don't want to butcher his name, so I'm just going to call him Andreas, the number 21, came in for Antonio Nusa and literally made an instant impact. You know, what we talk about instant impact. Yeah, he literally just came in and delivered two beautiful assists. When the first one was nice, the second one was a simple pass. But yeah, still, Haaland, as everyone expected, he showed up in the big game. But if you really ask me, like, uh, speaking about Norway versus Brazil in overall, I think both teams have faced each other 5 times, fifth one including the game that was played the last night. So 5 games in total, and all of them, I believe, are won by Norway. If not won, it's a draw. So I think Brazil, I think Norway is the only team against whom Brazil is yet to win a single game. So yeah, it was quite an interesting, stat. But yeah, Holland once again dunking on Gabriel the first goal.
Yeah, literally,
Yeah, yeah,
it was
yeah.
embarrassing.
Gabriel literally stood no chance at all. Like
If
he
I
just
recall, even at the end of first half, Haaland like
uh,
did kind of bully Gabriel as well. Then as well,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I
there
mean,
was no doubt.
Haaland is he's a very strong. He's a very physical player, and Gabriel could not match his physicality. Even in the first half, we saw the shot that Odegaard took, which was saved by Alisson. But yeah, that chance was basically created by Haaland. If it weren't for his physicality, maybe the chance would have never come. So yeah, Odegaard missed a couple of chances as well, which I think if he scored, the score line would have been much worse. And then yeah, at the end, it was good to see Neymar finally coming in. Although when he came in, he did make a couple of good dribbles. But yeah, as you said, the penalty, it was perhaps an consolation goal, you can say. Since its last World Cup, and Neymar was trying to provoke the goalkeeper, which didn't really work on him because the goalkeeper was just, smiling at his face. So yeah, he was just chill yeah. But overall, it was a good game, and once again another upset, you could say. I mean, obviously everyone expected Brazil to do well since it's last Neymar's last World Cup, and I believe he took retirement from international football after the game. But yeah, can say it was perhaps a good run, maybe, but not up to the Brazilian standards. So yeah, this is it, the end of journey for Brazil.
Yeah, I mean, and like you have said, I actually did not know that the post match interview where they mentioned that Ancelotti made Vinicius do that. But yeah, you kind of wonder though, like obviously I don't think Ancelotti is super hated still by the Brazilian fans, but there were like still decisions like bad decisions made. Obviously, the one that everyone will talk about is like not picking Joao Pedro, and like how Ancelotti picked Thiago, right? And
Yeah,
I feel like he kind of realized he messed up because after that, Thiago didn't even start the games. We saw Cunha start the remaining of the games. So yeah, I know there's no doubt that this Brazilian side is probably the worst we have seen in years. But I'm kind of curious to see like how will they progress forward in the future though, because like I think like the still the main problem for them is the fullbacks. It's like aging fullbacks, just aging players in general.
yeah, for sure. I mean, you can say, as I mentioned, it was perhaps a disappointing run from their standards, but yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like the fact that it's crazy to even say that they are a country like Brazil is knocked out by the round of 16.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. So
yeah, if the the format wasn't extended to 48 teams, maybe would have maybe they wouldn't even have won a knockout game. Maybe like uh, due to the extension, the round of 32 was added. Otherwise, we would go straight to the round of 16, and maybe they would have lost that as well. So, I think many people were criticizing the 48 team format, but I think it gave it a lot of surprises. Obviously, the biggest being Cabo Verde.
yeah, obviously.
So yeah,
Yeah,
let's
so
move to the second game. Uh, Yet another very entertaining game: Mexico versus England. So, what are your thoughts on this one?
yeah, I mean this was definitely my favorite game of the day. I feel like the match. in general was quite intense. In the first half, I do think, like what people are saying, I do think Mexico were putting a shift in. I think it was quite intense. Both teams were kind of had their chances, but then obviously by the end, Bellingham just decided to step up and he scored the first goal. It was a beautiful header. And the second goal, right? He scored so fast, like I didn't even realize he scored it. Like I was still looking at my phone, and yeah, he scored the goal. But yeah, I think it was quite quick. I think it was only like between 80 seconds for the both goals scored. So yeah, and I also do want to say though, Bellingham in general today, even regardless of the goal, I think he had a quite great performance. He felt like he was kind of like in a lot of places on the pitch, like everywhere on the pitch. So what a performance from him. But yeah, then after that, Mexico after the Bellingham goal though, I think Mexico kind of had the momentum though, and that's exactly what happened. Quiñones scored a goal, which is again great because he has been he's been on hot form for this World Cup, so it was quite nice to see him score a goal. But going to the second half though, I I do think like it was still quite intense. Both teams had the chances, but we started off with a Harry Kane penalty, which was which he obviously converted. And then the funny thing was after that he gave away a pen himself. And a lot of people have been saying that the decision should not have been like it should not have been a penalty given to Mexico. But I personally disagree. I do think it was a soft pen, but I still think it was a penalty. So yeah. And then the last 30 minutes, so I think that was the most intense because England were parking the bus, but Mexico were just going all out. But I think what kind of cost them was the fact that even though like England had a player out already, Kwanzaa, but I think like Mexico, they were just relying too much on crossing. And yeah, the crosses just weren't that good. So even though they had the ball all the time, and it just felt like they were attacking the whole time, yeah, it was just felt kind of useless. And but still, props to England though they kind of defended with it all for the final 30 minutes. What was your opinion on the game, Momin?
Yeah, I mean, in the first half, we can't forget about the chances Raul Raul had. I I mean, props to Pickford. He made some amazing saves. Like all of the saves he made of Raul Jimenez were all like really good saves. Uh, yeah, Bellingham, as he's been the most, the most informed player uh, for England in this whole World Cup, probably apart from Harry Kane. So yeah, it was expected that kind of performance from him, but as you mentioned, the goals in quick succession, it really left Mexico completely baffled. And yeah, obviously they played well and they were under immense pressure considering the odds were against England. Like as you may have seen the stats, the fact that Mexico has never lost a game at the Azteca since the last 13 years. So yeah, there was definitely some pressure on England as well. And yeah, they did quite well. They were able to hold them off, and yeah, and then they won the game. And as you mentioned in the second half, the last 20-25 minutes, Mexico kept on spamming crosses, but Tuchel made a really intelligent sub here. He brought on Dan Burn, and we all know how good Dan Burn is with his headers. So the crosses made by Mexicans weren't
Even
really
Jets
being.
fans put on a shift.
Yeah, yeah, him and Dan Burn, yeah, both of them obviously really stood up to the occasion and weren't letting any cross, really get through to the attackers. And yeah, this is what won them the game. So yeah, great conversion to England. And on the other side, hard luck to Mexico. They had a great run throughout the tournament. I think they've been unbeaten so far in the group stage, and obviously you have to be unbeaten in the knockouts to go far. But yeah, they were unbeaten in the group stage as well. And so yeah, I think this was one of the best maybe performance of Mexico we have seen in the World Cups, and hopefully they can come back stronger in the upcoming World Cup in 2030.
Yeah, right. I mean, Still, I think a lot of people were kind of shitting on Mexico for this performance because they were spamming crosses a lot. But I think like before the final 30 minutes, I still think they were like putting up quite a fight. The pressure was there. They were creating actual solid chances before that. But yeah, still props to them. A great World Cup campaign for them. And I also want to mention like with this, we kind of seen like like for the post match, we kind of seen like two great things as well, like two funny or things. I mean, the first one was obviously the Harry Kane interview. He kind of lost his
Yeah.
voice. That was quite funny. But and the second thing was I'm not sure if I should say it's funny because I mean it's an injury, but you know how Jordan Henderson he wa-
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he got injured literally
He,
like by celebrating. The
yeah, he jumped over I think the board, the advertising board, and then just fell on his arm. And hopefully it's not something serious, but yeah, it was a bit funny. So yeah, it was crazy. Quinones once again had an amazing game for Mexico, managed to score a goal. Uh, I think Gilberto Mora wasn't really at his best considering he's only 17, but the nerve to play at the World Cup at 17, I think is still crazy enough that he gets to start in the Mexican team. And yeah, hopefully in the next World Cup he'll be Mexico will be here, and Gilberto Mora maybe would have improved much more. So yeah, do we have to
yeah,
have a
right. And I
prediction
also
now?
think like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Mexico team in the next 4 years will be quite different because obviously Raul, I'm not sure if he will play in the next World Cup. I think he will be like 39 or 40 by then. And today, I don't think it was a bad performance by him, but yeah, he did have a lot of chances, and I feel like he probably should have scored some of them.
yeah, for sure. So yeah, let's head to the predictions. One of the most yet again anticipated games of the tournament, Spain versus Portugal, Nations League final. Perhaps a revenge opportunity for Spain here. So, what do you think the score's gonna be in this game?
Yeah, I mean, no doubt this is game is super hyped. I think everyone is quite excited and anticipated to see how it will go. Now, Spain, like we have said, in the first game they were kind of poor. In the group stage, I feel like for the remaining two games they did kind of show their quality, but then they also did kind of sit back at times. Before the last game they played, though, I do think it was a quite good of a performance. I mean, their midfield looks good, the defense look good, and even the attack. I feel like with the Olmo and Baena and obviously Yamal, I do think the attack should not be our big problem as well. I mean, I still think it's quite good. But yeah, going for the Portugal side though, I feel like they have been quite hit or miss. I mean, obviously the first game they played, they were like quite average, and even for the last group game they had, I think they were just not that good. But obviously, I do still think they will put up a fight for this game. For the Croatia game, like I said, think they didn't deserve to go through, but at the end of the day, it happened. So I do think it will be a close game, but and I actually think we'll go to extra time, and I'm gonna back Spain to score a late winner there. So I'm gonna go for a 3-2 win for Spain.
Dang, that's interesting. Really, because you actually think there will be five goals in this game. Uh, but I mean, considering how Portugal have been against big teams, perhaps the biggest teams they have faced, Colombia and Croatia, they've been pretty average. And yeah, as you mentioned, they haven't really, you know, deserved to go through in the Croatia game, but we have them here with us. So, but yeah, I think if things don't change for Portugal in this game, they're getting at least a 3-1 loss against Spain. Like if they keep playing the way they are, Spain recently have really stepped it up. They were kind of disappointing in Capo Verde, but then they really stepped it up. They stepped their game up, and haven't really been really uh, uh, like they've been really good since they made their comeback. And this will be their most anticipated game, and perhaps a chance to have their revenge of the Nations League. Uh, Yeah, I've seen many posts of the Spanish fans being very hyped. On the other side, Portugal fans being really hyped as well, and Portugal fans being unfortunately very overconfident as well. Hopefully, it doesn't head back against them by the best team win. But I think actually Spain wins this game 3-1.
Yeah, right, right. I I would hope for a Spain win here, but I don't think it will be a complete domination by them. Like I said, I think Portugal they probably will like still step it up a bit. I mean, against the Croatia game, like I said, I even though I do think they did not deserve to go through, but it was not like they were completely getting clapped by Croatia. They were still like it was a quite even game. But yeah, and I want to talk about something off topic here. I mean, normally I don't really go with conspiracy theories and stuff, but you know, like how we have seen like Portugal getting like favorable decisions, and for Paraguay, the France game, we kind of seen like the decisions mainly were against France. So a lot of people kind of been saying that maybe like the FIFA is trying to push for like a Argentina versus Portugal matchup. Like, how do you kind of buy into that theory, or you think it's just all yap? I want to hear your opinion on it.
And honestly, I think it could be very true, but and I think they may even let Portugal win in that game because he's been meeting up with Trump and so on recently, and we all saw how Trump basically just he made a call from the White House and a suspension was overturned by FIFA. So I personally think there's some type of favorism as well, but this game should really decided. I think only way Portugal win this game is the same way they win against Croatia by some controversial decisions. If not for that, I don't really think Portugal will be winning this game at all.
Yeah, I mean, like we have said, regardless of if you think Portugal deserved to have the goal, the Croatia goal ruled out or not, there was no doubt. Like if it was any other match, any other team, they wouldn't have even looked at the decision. But the fact that it was Portugal, so of course they had to look at the Croatia goal and decide to overturn that. But with that, shall we move on to the next game?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Let's move to the second game of the night, being USA versus Belgium. Oh, what are your predictions for this one?
Yeah, I mean, Belgium are quite interesting in my opinion because, again, even in the Senegal game, I feel like they were just not really stepping it up. I feel like Senegal were kind of like dominant, but then yeah, in the second half that suddenly kind of changed. Especially it was like in the 70th or 80th minute when Belgium really started stepping it up. And but I do think it was more like a fumble from Senegal, and we have seen how great USA have been this tournament. And obviously Balogun decision have been overturned as well. He will play in the game. So I'm backing USA for a win here. I would say like a 2-1 win for USA.
Yeah, and interesting, really. And yeah, Belgium, they've been pretty average in the group stage, but in the knockout stage, they really, punished the, the African teams, Senegal, for their mistakes. Uh, the fact that they had a two-goal lead and bottled it within the last 2 or 3 minutes, I think that says a lot about their defense. Like, how do you score two goals, like hold against them for 85 minutes and then just fumble and like crumble completely, give away to the pressure. And yeah, I think Senegal should have won that game. But in this game, I think USA personally hasn't really faced a stronger side yet. Like they had a group of Turkey, Australia, Paraguay. They were beaten by Turkey, and then in the knockout stage they had to face Bosnia, which isn't really a great team. But I think Belgium is a team that can challenge them, and I really hope Belgium wins this one. So I'm I'm gonna go for a 2-1 win for Belgium here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like I said, I don't think USA will completely like dominate this game. But yeah, with still going with their form, I do think USA do have a chance of going through. But yeah, I hear your opinion on it though.
Yeah, yeah, sure. And what are your thoughts on the suspension overturn decision by by FIFA?
The which one?
Yeah, you know the USA player,
Oh yeah, yeah,
their
Balogun, right?
striker.
Balogun,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, personally, I I literally said it right. That Balogun was allowed to play for this game now, and again, during the match, I do think it was a clear red card, and I think the fact that he's even allowed to play this game is just kind of a robbery, in my opinion. What was your thought on it, though?
Yeah, I mean exactly. Like if countries, uh, it's the White House is basically the president's house basically. So if he can make a call and pressurize FIFA just like that, I think that's a failure from FIFA. And they shouldn't have really done that. They should have stood by the rules. And Belgium, I think they made an official statement against this that it's a disgrace. Similar with UEFA, they made a statement as well that it should not have been overturned. And I think the part that's really crazy is the fact that the USA fans are comparing Balogun's foul with the Messi's foul. I think it doesn't make any sense. Like it's no comparison at all. Like Messi didn't, he didn't step on the player's ankle. He just kind of scratched his, his leg, his calves. So I think that's a pretty bad comparison. And this one shouldn't be made really.
Yeah, yeah, and obviously, there's no surprises that this happened because I mean the World Cup is already being hosted in USA, so it's not even like I wasn't even shocked when I heard the news that the suspension was overturned. Like I really wasn't even shocked. Like we have reached to the stage of this.
Yeah, honestly, and only due to this fact, I have some beef with the USA anyways, but especially with this act, I hope Belgium tries their best to beat them and maybe save football. So yeah, I think it will be a big game for Belgium, despite the home pressure. I think they should be able to win this one, and yeah, let's hope for the best really. So yeah, I think this is it for the games today, tonight. Yeah, these are the games for tonight. Then tomorrow. Okay, yeah, we have Argentina versus Egypt tomorrow. So yeah, and that's it for today. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you have any suggestions, don't forget to put them in the comment section. And yeah, and see you in the next one.